Dave Weigel, parental alienation activist and warrior. Hello everybody. This is a very important video to get out. I've got a couple of pretty big announcements to make, a little bit of substantiation to provide, and a solution. All right? That's the biggest part of what I'm going to talk. And please excuse me, I need to continue to do this organically and have this be more a stream of consciousness, because I'm not a professional presenter. Okay, I started this whole thing with these videos as just a mental health exercise, something that I needed to do. And I don't know why I needed to do, but I needed to do it. And I needed to just get this truth out of my system, the abuse out of my system and onto the public. And that public thing is a common denominator here that is very important to this message, because I really think that I've stumbled upon the solution, a solution, something that can actually feasibly, specifically be done here and now to fix the nationwide divorce system, the family court system, that everybody knows is riddled with problems, okay? But nobody's got a solution. Nobody's got a solution. Well, we are now sitting in the midst of three mind-bendingly huge technologies that people know about, right? It's the internet, which we knew, but nobody really truly understands how big it is, okay? Blockchain, the underlying technology in Bitcoin. And I'll explain where that's going to be coming in, but that's the ultimate truth verifier. The most organic. Why are all these technology people so crazy about how game-changing and world-changing this is? It's the underlying technology is truly an unhackable truth verifier. And now we're sitting at the onset of AI. And you've heard all the stories out there, and there's going to be plenty more technical people that you should be listening to but me. But I've just done something that I've always done in my career, where I've developed a specialty at, and that is studying these complex, powerful systems, vehicles, whatever, and putting them together in a way that where the whole now has created something else, creating something, a completely different end user experience, or a very specific end user experience. And I hope to be able to explain to you here now where this relates to what I've been doing, where we're at right now, and how this truly can be this ultimate fix to mass child abuse. Okay, and I'm going to keep referring to it as mass child abuse. That is the output of that system. Destruction, family destruction, fatherless homes. That is the output. That is the chief export of this system. And it has nothing to do with my case specifically. Right? That's not why thousands of people are tuning in from all over the world. That's not why I'm part of these parental alienation groups that run in the hundreds. Just my little group. It's 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, everybody knows. Right? But you lovely people have all listened here, and I'm sure at the end of it should be, oh great Dave, we're behind you, good luck with you doing this. You've been very kind with your compliments about what level of good this could possibly have on the greater society. But we're all left at the end of the day just sitting there saying, okay, well then what do we do? Okay, even this, right now, this is going to be doing a lot to get me in trouble, make things worse for me, but how much good can it possibly really cause? Well, that's why I thought a little bit of an explanation of what we've done here. And I'm just going to try and speak in story form to explain how all the pieces have come together and the power and the impact that I think this now has. All right. When I first started this and started putting up videos, I was putting up videos for everything. And if you look back, you'll see, one second you're goofing around with your dogs, next second you're putting out pieces about, life lessons for your kids, which was all mental health stuff. It was all finding some solution to the problem that I was, that we all suffer. And I wanted to be authentic with the truth of the pain and the anguish. And from what I can tell from people that have chimed in, that's one thing that I think I've gotten right, and I'm gonna hold true to it. Because the other thing is, when you hear and see somebody being really angry, that's all people hear. They turn off their ears. And I think it goes back to just being an animal, right? And all of a sudden now, you hear somebody screaming, yelling, angry, and you just think it's about you, and your thorns go up, and your ears turn off. And to my parental alienation brothers and sisters out there, that is always the last lesson that we all learn. It's just how much the anger, no matter how justified and how righteous it might have felt in the moment, it really hurts. It doesn't help. And to kid yourself that somehow the validity of the rage, and it is extraordinarily valid, that somehow that makes a difference. Unfortunately, it's just not what anyone who's been this far into it will tell you. And it'll probably be the first thing that anyone tells you is the thing that they wish they can go back and change before. All right, so as I'm going through this, I just want you to understand that, yes, I'm extremely committed to this. And yes, when I am speaking to the perpetrators out there, I want them to see my vigor and my intent to see this through. But please don't confuse this as me being the aggressor in any of this, because any cursory look at the evidence will just show that I have just been serially victimized and just robbed, just hijacked in every sense of the word. All right, and this is not a specific story to me. This is a 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody, and it's grown to an epidemic. And the chief export, the chief output of this system, what they use in this system, is the children. And we call ourselves a developed society. That we allow this? We allow government-sponsored child abuse? It's just one of these many things that we throw our hands up and just say, how nuts is this world that we live in? Well, I want to talk about how we can make it less nuts. And this solution I'm putting together here, I think really should be discussed very seriously, because it has all the elements of working. It's right here, right now. These technologies are converging, right? So again, just getting into specifics here. I started putting up these videos, and my intent was, when I got into the specific stuff that I wanted to out and be a whistleblower on, to have this become public record. And that's what the internet is. Everybody knows that you put something on the internet, it's going to be there forever. All right, timestamped and dated forever. But if you look at what people put up on the internet, they clearly do not get the fact that literally in 100 years from now, your great-granddaughter will be sitting there looking up, who's my great-grandfather? Who's my great-grandmother? Who were they? Okay? And if the Google algorithm has picked up things that it deems significant, it's going to be there. And that's powerful. That's transparency. That's what public record is. And that's what it should do. Because transparency to track record. If you want to destroy a corrupt system that operates on lies, you have to add transparency. So how is it done? How is it done? So the first step was getting these posts up with information. But what's the difference between post and something that's going to be significant, considered significant, and make that an actual public record? Well, it has to be something material, okay? A national interest, okay? Not just my uncle's comment about Biden. So that's what I think I've done and what I've tried to do. And now, what makes that something more? Well, thankfully, I got my information published. that's what's new and different now. And that's what everybody can do, and that's what I wanted to get out to the world here, is that if you're being victimized by the same system, you don't have to go to the New York Times and try and be one of their 11 stories for that day. It's almost impossible. Right? This is public record, but it has to be utilized right. It has to be turned into news. So not everyone is going to be able to get published, okay? Then it goes down to how much it's shared, you know, how, if it's joined into a larger pool, okay? My hope and dream is that more and more people will follow on and will do this. And maybe I open up a nonprofit and provide this system for people to out corruption where they're being victimized by it. And maybe that's the way to get Google to recognize it as significant. But, you know, anyone can put up any information. And that information, you know, could be mean-lying. All right? Just because it got published doesn't mean that it's, you know, necessarily true. All right? So then now we have the second step of technology converging. So once you have public record that's been recognized as important, how do you make it data? You got to verify it's true. We've already got blockchain. Blockchain is the underlying technology that makes Bitcoin work, and I'm not an expert on this subject whatsoever, but I've studied it at the extent of what it actually does and why it's so impactful. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, come on, they created in technology. If they can build it, they can destroy it with technology. But then when I understood that how it actually works, that it is this public ledger. Again, public is the key word here. A public post turned into public record now meets a public ledger system. And what does that public ledger system do? It takes a transaction, a thing, and says, okay, is it true? Now it's going out to every single computer on a particular transaction. So let's just take something with Bitcoin. All right, David Weigel at 59 John Street, on such and such a day at such and such a time sells $2,000 worth of Bitcoin to Joe Blow in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, all of the systems that exist out there have one mission. It's not a system that tries to confirm things. It's like science. It tries to disprove it. It goes out to every single node of every data point within that transaction to try and disprove it, to try and say it's a lie. So if it's saying, oh, I did this at 2:10 p.m., but the Geico app on my phone shows that I'm driving my car on the Garden State Parkway, it's failed. Right? Oh, I'm on a plane. Okay? The ability for anyone to break into and hack into 20,000 computers at the exact same time to be able to modify that information isn't happening. That's why all the technology gurus are going and saying, oh my God, it's going to change the world, because it truly does that. It truly verifies truth through a public ledger system, not private, not anything, any information anyone owns and can therefore manipulate. It's public, and through the mechanism of data reconciliation, data point reconciliation, it will verify whether or not this news that you've posted, let's say it's evidence, right? Let's say you're going after FIFA, right? Everyone knows they're a corrupt organization. But you put out an article saying, I've caught these guys, they're thieves, here is the evidence, and this is why I know that they did it, right? Now the things that could be verified, all right, can be verified through this blockchain. So now you've got evidence that's been made public record, didn't have to go on some court system someplace. You know, it's on the internet forever. But it's now been verified, and now it's been truth-fact. It's been fact-checked. So now you have data. What started with you having a complaint and all the big guys in the system will sit there and say, yeah, go complain all you want, who cares, who cares, who cares? Well, yeah, who cares? When they own the whole audience of where that information goes. But guess what? They can't own the audience of the entire globe. So now you've got data. Right? And just ask Jeff Bezos what the value of data is. Where does it go from there? Well, just because you have a bunch of evidence that's true, that still doesn't answer the question, is Dave lying? Is somebody else lying? What about this? What about that? What about what he didn't tell you? Okay? Now you enter AI. Now AI takes this fact, takes this data, and now is able to take all of human knowledge, every book written, and ChatGPT just passed the bar exam, right? So doing some incredible things, and is now searching the entire world and every known bit of science ever recorded to now verify that data. You know how huge that is? That's the entire purpose of a judicial system, of the judge. Now look at it in the analogy of a doctor. You go into a doctor and say, oh, I've got these 7 symptoms. That doctor has to sit there, rack his brain on everything ever written anywhere, every bit of science known about these 7 symptoms, to be able to say, oh, you've got this disease? How is a doctor going to do that better than AI? Better than all the known language, all the known knowledge that's ever been recorded in human existence? Can't. Same thing. Same exact thing here with the family court system or any court system. Because now this AI has removed bias, has removed politics, has removed corruption, has removed vested interest, has removed illegal payments, because all it's caring about is verifying the truth. So now you have these situations where, all right, you've got a bunch of evidence, she's got a bunch of evidence, but there's still some unknowns out there that really rely upon the story, really rely upon the pattern of the story. But now you have a system with AI that has not only done a much better job than any judge could possibly do in determining what the true story is. Who's right, who's wrong, who was lying, who wasn't. You've got a real, authentic output here. But now, you got to make it accessible, right? Because the whole thing with, take any kind of divorce. If you're friendly with both the husband and the wife, and let's say you go out with the husband on Friday night, and he goes on and on and on and on and kills your ear with what's going on, and you're a good friend, you're listening to it, but you're really feeling, his pain, and at the end of it, you think that wife, should be locked up in a loony bin or something. Then you go out with the wife on Saturday night, and you hear a completely other story. And, people who have, experienced this know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, did this happen in the same universe? Right? Like, are we talking about the same person here? It's mind-blowing, if you care for both individuals. And then you talk to a third party and then you hear something completely else, so it's specific. I mean, a completely other perspective, a different perspective. So that leaves everybody with, all right, Dave, you got a great story. I'm sure she's got a great story. I'm sure if we heard her video, her 20-minute video, it would be much different from this, but who's going to ever know what the truth is? Well, it doesn't have to be that way anymore, because let's face it, it's all about who's going to take the time to go through all of that evidence. No, not even the lawyers do that. Not even the judges do that. The judges don't go home with homework to verify the data that's come in, verify the evidence, make sure it's true and authentic. That's why it's all about who's got a better story and money and other things, right? But now you have a completely different system. Now you have a truth verification system. You do not have to go to the family court system. You can start putting public record up of data, and you better make sure it's true, because that same system is going to filter out people that are full of crap, okay? So this system is now taking public record that's put up by individuals, by the public, to the public. And now through a public ledger system, it's verifying the authenticity, verifying that as fact. Is this evidence actually factual or not, right? And then you have AI. AI coming in, taking that data and analyzing that data. Now when it analyzes that data, you can now sit there and type in things like, what's the rate in society that domestic violence offenders fall into? Oh, 3%, 4%? Okay, what is the rate of domestic violence accusations in Manhattan or in other Beverly Hills, what have you? Oh, 93%. What does that analysis tell you? It tells you something's wrong. It tells you there's things that do not match up. And the whole question is, why isn't that data being analyzed right here and now? Why is it not being analyzed? Well, I'm my own attorney now, and that means I finally got access to the what's called nicest system, and that's where you're actually putting the information up. You're putting up the evidence and you're submitting it to the case file. This was a very difficult thing to finally make happen for me, but as I did, I was able to get in and see that there's a little disclosure in there. Even though this is public information, the family court, it's the court system, that's public information. That's owned by you and me. But on that system, it says no data aggregation systems cannot have access to outside systems. Why? Why can't this data be analyzed? Do you know how much value is going to be gotten from the analysis of this information? So we can go in there and we can ask very, very important questions about the integrity of the process. And that analysis, that data, will be ironclad. Well, seems like there's people that don't want that analysis to be done. But that is the final summation of everything I'm saying here today. It's not David Weigel who's taking on the entire family court system and thinking, having a snowball's chance in hell of denting. David Weigel is doing what he's always done. He's putting the pieces together and thinking about where we are exactly here and now and how these pieces can produce something completely different and something really beneficial. We've got the pieces. We've got the technology. The technology exists right now. The only thing that does not exist is the gateway to allow the data analysis systems, the AI, access to the data. And that's what we got to stand up for. That is what I'm here to announce here today, is that I'm going to be calling myself David Weigel, parental alienation activist, for a long, long time, because I'm not taking my ball and going home. I've seen too much. I've seen too much. I can't just do that and abandon the next 1,000 kids in line, the next 100 guys, gals. Doesn't discriminate. You got money? They'll put you through the same machine. It's abuse. It's criminal. And it should not be happening in a country where we have the rule of law. And you guys know this stuff does not happen in a vacuum. If this is happening to me, and it's happened to scores of other people you've heard of, how long is it going to be until this corruption seeps into your world? We can do something about it. Something specific. So right now, just know, you staying and listening to this whole thing has already done something. You are public witness for the public record that I've put up that has now gone through and about to go through a fact-checking public ledger system that has already been created. And now all we need to do is turn the switch and demand of our lawmakers that this public information, sure, if you've got some information in there about kids that should be sealed, seal it. That's what, 2-3% of it? It's not a reason to seal all of that data. This is public information. We are all exposed to this system. It's broken. The story is out. It's everywhere. This is a solution, and I may ask you guys to sign a petition, but I'm going to get on this in a very, very big way, because this is something that can change lives, massive amount of lives for the better. And it can also, and it should also, reveal some pretty bad people that need to be revealed. But that's all I'm going to say on the matter right now, because I wanted this to be ending on a positive light. I don't want to be fight for the rest of my life. I don't enjoy this. This is not something that I want to be doing with my time. This is something I feel God has chosen me for. He's put me in a position where practically, because of everything that I've suffered already, and I'm still standing, it's got to be me. If not me, who? Not me, who? So I'm going to continue to ask for your support, because